You're watching the Alchemy Kitchen, and getting some fishing in while I still can before we get locked down. I don't even know if I can do that, but don't let that sun fool you. It's really cold out. The wind is freezing today, but second day of spring, and we've already got some stinging nettle growing, and this is when it's best, when it's young like this. Did a recipe with it last year, so I'm gonna pick this. Wear some gloves, helps. Put it in a bag and take it home for later, hopefully with a fish. I'm gonna be making some wild pesto. I did a video in the past. I put the card up on a bearlauk pesto, and bearlauk is ramps or ramson or wild garlic, bear leek, bear garlic. It's got a bunch of names, and also got some stinging nettle that I picked yesterday as well. Springtime, this stuff grows abundant if it grows in your area, and you find it, especially stinging nettle. There's tons of it. You want to pick it when it's young, and it's just starting to sprout here. Third day of spring, and very easy to identify because it really stings you. That's the fun thing about eating it. I get stung by it so much fishing. It grows all over the riverbanks. It's kind of like a nice revenge to eat it. Bearlauk or ramps. Look it up if you're not sure, because you can mix it up with something like lily of the valley, which is poisonous. A couple dead giveaways is the top side is shiny and the back side is kind of more matte, not shiny. And another thing is when you bend it, it snaps. And the stem is more like a triangular shape. I don't know if that will pick up in the camera very well, but yeah. And the smell, it smells like garlic, but you have to be careful, because if you're picking it, if that smell's already on your hands, you could pick something up and think you smell it. But those are 3 good signs of how to identify it. And it's very garlicky flavor. It's awesome for cooking. Grows only in the spring. I've planted some seeds here, but they didn't grow this year, so maybe next year I'll get lucky and I don't have to forage for it as much. Both of these have a bit of a... Nettle has a particular taste. It's hard to describe. This tastes like garlic, but it has a bit of a bitter aftertaste. So I'm going to make it pretty much like pesto. We're going to put some parmesan, got some salt. Use some good salt, Himalayan salt, sea salt, whatever. Olive oil. And I like to add a bit of honey to it. That kind of just counteracts with that little bit of bitter aftertaste. And then some nuts are really good. So we've got a bunch of walnuts from our tree that we'll also be putting in this. So first step is dealing with the nettle. When you pick it, wear gloves. It's the easiest way. It stings. Once you have it harvested, you can just soak it in cold water. That's what I'll start out with, and then you can rinse it, especially if you're not sure where you picked it. Like, if there's a lot of people who walk their dogs for obvious reasons, you might want to rinse it. But you want to put it in cold water. A lot of the stinging properties go away. You'll still get a little bit of a sensation from it. And then you blanch it for about 30 seconds to 1 minute in boiling water and drain it. That's it. Then it doesn't sting anymore at all. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in some cold water, blanch it for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we'll get back to putting it all in the blender and making pesto. So I've got the stinging nettle blanched. It's going to go into the blender. As you see, it doesn't sting anymore. Bearlauk. We're going to put some olive oil. I'm eyeballing it, but I'll put some measurements in the description. Put in some salt. 3 pinches, you can add more later. Now we're going to blend this up. I'll put the walnuts in later, and you can add Parmesan cheese as well, and the honey. So first blend this, get it slightly blended, and then we add the rest. Now it's well blended, I'm going to add in the honey. And go at your own taste. I'm going to use a couple big spoons. So making a bigger batch. Local honey grown by a friend who gets it for me. And I'm going to add in the walnuts. What I'm actually going to do is add in about half of them and blend them first, and then add the rest at the end and give it a quick blitz because I have different textures in it. Now I'm going to add the rest in. Time for a taste test to see if it needs anything. Wow, that's really good. The honey was quite a bit, but it's really sweet in a way, but it also just blends really good with the other flavors. I'm only eating with my girlfriend because we're on quarantine, so I don't mind to double dip the spoon. Self-quarantine, but it's actually kind of like a rule now. Fuck, that is good. It's super good. I'd say a little bit more salt and it's perfect. And we're gonna have this on pasta tonight. I think it's enough so I can jar some of it up and also have some pasta to go with some ostrich we have on the cold smoker that we're gonna grill on open fire. But it tastes super good. Barrel aged pesto is awesome, but with the nettle, it's a really good mix. Extremely healthy, and nettle grows everywhere. If there's a food shortage right now, this time of the year, there's plenty of nettle. You can dry it, you can make tea. It's got like a lot of cool aspects to it for a plant. Very interesting plant. Read up on it. So, time to jar this up and get the grill ready. Alright, so finished this pesto last night. Got a pretty good amount of it. Had some last night. It was awesome, but it was grilling, I was cold smoking, drinking quite a few beers. So, I just ate last night. I didn't bother videotaping it, but it was really good, so I made some more for lunch today. Just need a spoonful for one serving, so this will last a little while. And, just boil your pasta like normal. And while it's still hot, put a spoonful in there and stir it to coat the pasta. What I'm going to throw on it here is a bit more, just some walnuts. There's already some in the pesto, but I like the big pieces as well. And I also smoked some fresh mozzarella yesterday. First time trying with fresh mozzarella, and I have to say it came out really good. Smoked it with hickory and mesquite. Mostly hickory, because mesquite is pretty strong, but I like it like that. So get some of that on there, and that is good. I mean, I've made pesto before with the ramps, with the wild garlic. That's awesome. I have to say this is even better with the stinging nettle. I'll put an approximate recipe down below, like the quantities for the ingredients, but you just got to kind of mess with it. You might like the wild garlic more than the nettle, or vice versa. So, try it, how much honey you put into it. A little bit of honey, though, really adds something nice to it. You can also put parmesan into the pesto. I'm getting kind of low, and I'm avoiding going to the stores too often, so saving the parmesan, add this mozzarella instead, which is just as good, I think. But yeah, I mean, other than the cheese and the pasta, which you can make, this is all just wild food picked from out here. Springtime food, and very healthy. Most work involved was maybe picking the nettle and not getting stung, but wear gloves. That's probably going to be coming into style soon anyways. And yeah, you won't have any problems. So, get a few photos of this, and then I'm going to dig in. Alright. I'm hungry. Let's try it. Wow. That's already probably one of the best pestos I've had. But with the smoked fresh mozzarella, that adds something even more amazing to it. Anyway, I'm gonna go fishing a little bit and There's tons of this nettle sprouting, perfect age for picking, all along the riverbank. So while I sit there waiting for a fish to bite, I'll also be picking more of that, because you can dry it, you can make tea out of it. I've seen recipes that use it dried. I'm also going to try freezing it. So that stuff grows like weeds, it grows like wildfire. And you want to get it when it's young. When it gets too old, the stems get kind of woody and it's not as good to eat, so it's better to pick it now. And there's more than I could possibly eat, even in my garden here, but kind of a way to kill the time when I'm fishing, waiting for a fish to bite. Pick more of that and have a good stock of it. Thanks for watching. Till next time.